is the MP5 SD. It's an internally suppressed SMG, chambered in 9mm, and it's a great gun. Now the only thing is that because it's integrally suppressed, it gets dirty a lot. Now this one looks quite clean on the outside, but let's take it apart and see what's inside. The trigger mechanism seems quite clean, with exception of a couple of granules of gunpowder. So how the MP5 SD works is that you can use normal 9mm ammo and it will make it subsonic. It achieves this by vent holes that are next to the chamber, and yeah, those vent holes vent gases away from the bullet, so it reduces the speed, makes them subsonic. But also the unintentional consequence of that is that a lot of carbon, unburned powder and other impurities get blown into the suppressor and also back into the chamber. Let's take the suppressor off. What the fuck? Now keep in mind that I only shot 3, maximum 4 magazines with this gun before the cleaning, and it already looks terrible. This gives you an idea of how dirty this gun can get. So you have to be very diligent with cleaning, especially the suppressor part. You have to pay attention and do a couple of things right, otherwise it can seize up and you can never get it off the gun again. Okay. It has tabs. So I was finally able to get the handguard off. So here I want to show you two things. The barrel is shorter than the handguard, and it has this vent holes very close to the actual chamber. So what happens is when the bullet is fired, the gases behind the bullet push the bullet, and then a part of them actually gets released out of these vent holes into the first chamber of the suppressor, the expansion chamber, and then the bullet goes through the actual suppressor through the baffles. Contrary to popular belief, you can actually shoot subsonics from an MP5 SD. Probably not all of them, but most of them work and cycle reliably. Now, looking at this barrel, it's actually not that dirty. It can get much, much worse. But what I wanted to see here is the state of these vent holes. Now, if you shoot a lot of rounds without cleaning, what can happen is that carbon and actual brass shavings from the bullet jacket itself can get stuck in here, and these holes can start to gum up and close, which of course reduces the functionality of this firearm. Of course, HK makes a specialized tool just for cleaning these holes, where you can reach inside and clean them, but it costs almost as their P30 pistol. Very expensive. Now let's start with some actual cleaning. I'll mainly be using the gun cleaner for rifle CX. It will be good enough for most of the things because this gun was cleaned and actually conditioned before I shot it. So everything was sprayed with the Teflon spray. So as you can see, the dirt is actually getting off very easily. In case that some of this dirt would not go away, I would actually use the barrel foam cleaner, which is much more aggressive. I'm finding that these small particles of amber powder and bullet shavings and carbon are actually quite pain in the ass to remove from the gun. What I want to do right now is to clean it thoroughly and then protect it with Teflon, grease it properly, and then just shoot until it stops shooting, essentially. So now, since the gun cleaner is not that effective for this stuff here, I will use barrel foam, which is more aggressive, and I would usually not use it on aluminum, but since I'm not leaving it on to work for longer periods of time, I think it should be okay. So I'll spray it, scrub it, and then clean it. Your barrel foam should not do this. It's not normal. Mine is broken, but it's still okay for cleaning, I guess. Woo. Wow. I think the easiest way to clean this is to use hot water. You can also use soap. Now just use some compressed air to get the water out. Before putting everything together, I will spray the parts with the light coat of the Care Spray, which has Teflon inside, and it will create a very thin coating on the parts that's dry to the touch and actually repels moisture and dirt, but also kind of helps to protect the parts. Now, to visually show you what it does, I think this suppressor is a really good representation. So first we use the gun cleaner, which has a lot of solvents inside, and it will completely clean and degrease the parts. So let's do this first. The gun cleaner will not damage the finish of your gun, but it can make plastics and certain finishes look quite terrible because it removes all of the coating and all of the grease from the outside. So as you can see, this aluminum anodized finish, it looks kind of whitish and you can see some imperfections and stuff. So that's why every time that we clean the parts with a degreaser, we also want to hit them with the Care Spray, which will do this. Okay, I used a bit too much, but it doesn't matter. So you can leave it on for a couple of minutes and then just use a rag or something to lightly remove the excess. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to dry it completely because otherwise it will be the same effect as spraying it with oil. Now, as you can see, this will create a very thin film on the parts. It will make them look much better, but also protect them. This is not oily, it's not sticky, you cannot even feel that there's something on the part itself. Additionally, I want to use gun oil on all of the moving parts and parts that touch together, rub, wherever there's friction and wear. Now, this is not always needed, but since I'm planning to run this gun hard and not clean it until a very high round count, I will use some Teflon grease Now keep in mind that this Teflon grease is very thick and has very low viscosity. So if you use it too much, or if you use it, I don't know, in your race gun, your very tuned handgun, it could actually slow down the slide and even make it malfunction. Now my last trick before putting this together is using some ceramic grease on all of the threads on the suppressor, because that way, even with high temperature, with a lot of carbon fouling, it will not lock up. I actually very rarely use ceramic grease because it's very thick, and also it's white and it stays white. So if you apply it to your gun, it will stay there. It's actually more sticky than lubricating. So also I would not advise using this for any of the moving parts. So this is what I was talking about. Ceramic grease will stain parts white. Not permanently, of course.
Nice.
And that's it.